our guests today are four outstanding young ladies who are in leadership roles in the ROTCs for our two high schools. And I had the honor to meet them and get to know them a little bit more at their two military balls a few months ago, and was so impressed with the choices that they have made to develop themselves in leadership roles and what they anticipate these roles now will mean for them in the future, that I came back immediately and wanted to interview you all on our television station. So thank you, young ladies.
It's an honor.
Well, and you impressed me mightily in the few minutes I had to visit with you. Let's introduce these folks. From Central High School, we have Tonya Howard, who is this semester the Vice Group Commander, and Aimee Vu, who is last semester was the Group Commander, and this semester is Special Assistant. And before I introduce our Lakeview young ladies, I want to explain to our audience that every semester the Group Commander rotates. So where Aimee and Maria at Lakeview were commanders first semester, that is a single semester assignment.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now let's keep going forward. And from Lakeview, we have Angie Trevino, who is the group commander for this semester. And we have Maria Renteria, who is the special assistant this semester, but like Aimee, you were group commander first semester.
Okay.
Now, that is a high honor because you didn't just get that honor on a straight popularity contest. Explain to us, how do you get to be the commander, group commander? Maria, talk to me about that a little bit.
Sure. What we do over there at Lakeview High School, to get the Corps Commander interview, that's what we start having, is when we have the three instructors, Major Harris, Sergeant Mantell, Sergeant Wheeler, and the present Corps Commander of that year. They all get into the room together, and we set it up just like an interview. They ask us questions saying, top priority stuff, saying, what's your goal? Why do you want to be a group commander? And they check on our leadership ability. And they also see how we perform our duties as well.
And Aimee, your grades and discipline in the regular school also would impact whether you get to do this or not.
The summer prior to usually your senior years, whenever you're the group commander, Colonel Lopez, Sergeant Harris, and Sergeant Marquez go and they talk to some of your older teachers and see how you acted in class, and they constantly are checking on your grades, and that's something that even when you get it, you still have to keep that up, and you have to keep your conduct well in class, or it can't get taken away from you.
And all of these young people are seniors.
Yes.
And so I would assume that the group commander usually is from the seniors.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, is that usually more than one person vying for that position?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and thus the interview process and your grades and your discipline referrals, etc.
And it also depends on what happens the prior years that you're in RTC, like
Oh.
how well you work with other people and what they see you can do.
And how you make decisions,
Yes,
probably. And if you are respected, there would have to be respect from your peers,
Yes,
or
ma'am.
you couldn't do this job.
Right.
Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about when you decided, what year were you, and what led up to you choosing to be a part of ROTC? Any of you can respond to that.
I was in 8th grade. Some of the cadets that were in RCC at the time came to Lee during our lunch and talked to us about it, and it was right before pre-registration, so that's what got me to pick RCC my freshman year, and I joined my freshman year.
Any of you others have a different point in your career that you decided to be in ROTC?
Well, for me in the beginning, I was in band through my whole middle school year, and I was planning to join band in high school. And once I joined the band in Lakeview, I wasn't interested in it. I didn't think I was going to have a career in band. So in the second week of school, I took myself to the ROTC building, and I actually liked the program, what they were having. And I was like, probably something will get me out of this. I'll probably get a good education. And so that's what got me into it.
Did the discipline of the ROTC program at first, was that an adjustment? Because our lives, most of us, as young people anyway, and even at my age, we're not used to the level of discipline that you all have in a branch of the military, even at the ROTC level. Did that, were you sure that you could handle that?
Honestly, no. I remember my freshman year, the first semester, I actually thought of getting out, but I ended up staying in. And so it's something that I'm glad I didn't do.
So do you think it's normal for most people their first year in to have some doubts as to whether I want to go through this level of discipline? Do you think that's the norm?
I think it is.
Because it's intimidating when there's upperclassmen who already know what they're doing and they've been in ROTC for years. And since you're a freshman, you're new and you don't want to, you don't want to mess up, and so you just want to do everything perfect and you want to stick it up to their level.
Don't you think that the 6 adult leaders of our 2 high schools are outstanding?
Yes.
I absolutely, at both high schools, when I'm in the presence of any of the 6 leaders, 3 at each of the campuses, I'm in awe of the leadership of these men and lady. Does it play a part in your decision to stay in once you get in?
I know if it wasn't for my instructors, then I wouldn't have stayed in. Because Chief Savoy, he's not here anymore. He's not at Central anymore. But he was my first instructor. He was at the freshman campus when we were there, and he's the reason I stayed in. And I know if it wasn't for them, then I would have never stayed in at all.
So has the adult leadership impacted all of you? Would you say that's a fair statement?
Yes.
Yeah. They're tough, but they care deeply for you. And I enjoy being around them. I've actually teased them all that I think every high school student ought to have to go through their programs.
Yes, I agree.
Because they just help you all polish into mature, hard-working young people that I would love for every young person to get a chance to work with those adults. Talk to me, and Maria, you and I chatted a little bit about how ROTC has impacted you and changed you for the better. And so I'll let Maria start, but if anybody else wants to add to it, give me some examples of how you think character building, for one thing, but other ways that ROTC, unlike any other organization perhaps, has molded you into what you've become.
Well, in middle school, I wasn't an all straight A student. I had terrible behaviors. I would always talk back to my teachers, and it was just horrible.
Which is so hard for me to believe,
Yeah.
seeing you today.
And it was just like very difficult. And the turning point for me was in 8th grade when they were going to send me the Carver for popping a firecracker. And that was all like, you know what, I have to change my life around. Probably high school would do better for me. And since I joined the high school band, I wasn't that into it. And so I joined ROTC, and from then on, they showed me about charactership, leadership, and how to respect to the people. And so I learned that, and if you want respect, you have to treat others with respect. And they just built me into the person I am today, and I'm very grateful for joining their program because they taught me how to communicate with others, and sometimes life doesn't go your way, but there's always another option to go to.
And that there's a need for rules.
Yes, you need discipline.
Yes. I think our society has somewhat rebelled against rules. Maybe rules are okay for other people, but maybe I don't need quite as many rules. And I see not only what I see coming out of the young people from ROTC programs here in San Angelo, that word respect for other human beings, and that I can't always have my way. It's not even healthy for me to always have my way. So I am so grateful for that for you all. How has it impacted others of you, what you have learned from ROTC?
Well, like the same like Maria, I used to be a troublemaker, and I would always be in detention. I would always be in ISS. I used to spread rumors about people, which usually got people to fight, which is really bad. And my grades were okay, but they're not as good as they are now. And when I joined ROTC, the reason I had joined was because I had gotten in a fight with someone that was in the dance team. And so I got kicked off the dance team, and then I had to change my schedule the first day of school. And they said, well, what classes would you like to take? And I was like, well, what classes do you have? And they said, well, we have ROTC, and they were naming other classes. And I was like, well, I'll try ROTC, and I'll see what that's about. And the first day, it was hard, like, changing into that kind of the rules and stuff. But I got used to it, and I really liked it, and I'm glad that I made that choice.
Wow. What do you think the main goals of ROTC are for young people?
To build a better person and their character.
That's the motto.
To build a better person, which is, you've mentioned respect, you've mentioned, or several of you have mentioned, just being able to accept and follow rules. What else?
We have our core values, which is integrity, service, and excellence, and that's the three
Integrity,
things.
service, and excellence. Both of your organizations, speaking of service, do unbelievable number of hours of community service. And not only do you do the fun community service, cute things with kids, but your principals tell me that your organizations are the first ones to see a need on your campus and volunteer to do it, even if it's a dirty job, like picking up litter, which is picking up after somebody else, which is a thankless job to a great extent. So service is huge.
Yes, it is.
You all, how many hours on the average each year do you think you all put in for community service?
For me, I had to do a scholarship, and he told me, how many hours have you completed in community service for 4 years? I calculated, and I did more than 200 hours of community service.
Wow.
We try to get each one of our cadets to do at least 30, but most people do at least 60 a year. And that's with like everything that we do, from football games to picking up trash to going to the Feast of Sharing and stuff like that.
And at the moment we have over 2,000 hours for the whole Corps, and we still have more community service to do, so.
Still got to have 2 more months of school.
Yeah.
And we have events coming up like the Sidewalk Chalk Festival and the Children's Fair, and we've been recruiting and just stuff like that.
We did so much, and today in Lakeview we had to do our own blood drive, which is going to be for today and tomorrow, so it was pretty hectic. But for our goals is we have to exceed more than 3,000 community service hours, and we actually met that level to the point.
My goodness. Why do you think that that's important?
Because it shows that we show to our community that we do care, and if they need someone to help, we're always there for them, and they could depend on us. Because sometimes there's some people who can, but things happen, but we're 100% sure that we will attend and to help them out, just to make our community better.
If you all volunteer, you're going to be there from start to finish, early and stay late.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Dedication.
is
Wow.
really fun because when you're doing community service and the whole corps is just together, you interact with one another, you create memories that you're never going to forget. And so that's why we
Community
do so
service
many.
is something that like it helps you to where like you're not just a core. Like I could say like our core is pretty much a family. Like we've been together for so many years that you could call us a family, and it's because we do so much together.
What do you do? I know one of the responsibilities of being the commander, it isn't just being the one who gets to wear the robes.
Right.
There's the hard thing might be, one of the difficult challenges might be having, if one of your cadets makes poor choices, that you are, and some of your peers, maybe fellow officers, or a panel of judges.
Right.
But talk to me about that. How does that work?
It depends on what they do, you know. At the end of each 6 weeks, we check everybody's grades, mainly the officers, like their grades and how they're doing in class. And if they're not doing good, then, you know, we give them a letter saying, you know, this is what you did, and now they have to go through a disciplinary board where it's usually the top 4 go in, and we say, you know, this is what you did, this is what you're going to do, and if you don't do it, then they can either like get stripped of their rank or get demoted to a different rank.
So it's serious.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have, why has that in and of itself been a good experience?
It's taught you that, like, even if they're your best friend, you know, work is work, and you have to do what you have to do, and it may be hard to do it to some of your best friends, but it teaches you that you have to have that responsibility to keep your grades up.
Because all in business.
And if you are that high rank, it teaches you that you have to be responsible enough and strong enough to do what you need to do to make sure everything works smoothly and that there's no like kinks in anything.
Many 14-year-old ninth graders, if they make poor choices, don't always take responsibility and blame other people. When they are brought before you all and have made poor choices, either by not doing their homework, getting zeros in class, or maybe it's a poor behavior, how do you help young people to grow and take responsibility for their actions?
For us, we set them aside and we have private conversations. We ask if everything's okay in their personal life and in school as well. And once we gain their trust and everything, they'll know we're actually there for them. We're not going to go against them. We're actually going to be here to help them out if they're struggling. And we can understand because we all went through it before. And we could just give them good advice and they'll take it. And then later on, they're going to become just like one of us. And usually they always thank us, saying, thank you for helping me out during my time. And you have no idea, you've been such a good friend to me. And so it just makes me feel like, you know, we all helped out with each other when someone's struggling.
So is it easier for a young person to take input from one of their peers or from one of your commanding officer adults?
I think it's easier when it's peer-to-peer. You know, you understand someone that's closer to your age than you would, you know, just any regular teacher. But I think with our instructors, it's also different because we can actually talk to our instructors. We can go in and say, this is what's going on, and they'll be there to help. And, you know, it really goes any way. You can either talk to instructors or you can talk to one of the higher officers, but we're always there to help. Like I said, like we're like a family, and we just want to make sure everybody's okay.
And like Maria said, we've all been through it, and if there any time that someone needs help, we're there to help them, and they know that.
Have you ever told them your own stories about, I feel your pain,
Yes.
I didn't always make good grades, and I maybe had an attitude, and and sometimes I wanted to skip school, and we just can't.
Right.
Yeah. So do all of you occasionally tell your own story to one of your peers to help them
Yes.
to know that you're not policing them, you're just trying to help them?
Right.
Yeah.
We got to the right path.
Yeah. Tell me what you plan to do after you leave high school. Would you start and just tell us this close, I know you have some plans already in place.
Well, I'm planning to join the Air Force ROTC in college at UT, and I never actually thought about joining it until I joined the JROTC in high school. So I'm planning to go into the military also as an officer. Pretty cool.
So, what do you hope to major in?
Computer science.
Okay. So you're one of those high-tech folks?
Oh yeah, I like math, so I think it'd be a good thing.
So you've chosen my university to go into the ROTC program. What a smart young lady. I tease about that. I'm just tickled wherever you choose and would support you. But Longhorns do have to stick together. Okay. And you know you want to go Air Force?
Yes.
Okay. Is that going to work out? Have you already been accepted into that?
Yes, I've already been. I actually got a scholarship for the ROTC, so I should, go there. And I've been accepted to UT, so everything's all finalized. And
Will you start there in August or before then?
in August.
Okay. And you start right off in ROTC?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Aimee, what about you?
I actually don't plan on joining the military. I plan on going to Johnson & Wales University in Denver, which is the culinary business school there. And I plan on majoring in sports, entertainment, and event management.
Well, I knew that you were also very much into our culinary
Yes,
arts
ma'am.
program, and that's a great opportunity for you, Aimee.
ma'am.
Way to go. Okay, where have you decided?
Well, I have decided to go to Texas Tech.
That's good.
I still represent UT, but I'm going to Texas Tech. I already got accepted and everything.
Excellent.
I'm going to be in their Army ROTC. Right now, I'm already enlisted in the Army National Guard. I've completed basic training last summer, and this summer I'm going to go back to Fort Jackson, South Carolina to finish my AIT training and come back and start school in August.
And what is your expertise? What do you feel like what area do you want to go into?
Well, my MOS in the military is Human Resource Specialist,
Okay.
but I want to major in education. I want to teach math. I
Wow.
love math.
Two mathers here. Okay, Maria.
For me, I pretty much have it all planned out. I'm going to be attending to ASU.
Good.
Be majoring in criminal justice. And once I graduate, I'm probably going to end up joining the San Angelo Police Department, if not Midland, for about 2 to 3 years. And then once I have settled there, I'm going to join the FBI Academy, stay there for at least 28 weeks for high intense training, and then probably gain an internship in the FBI Academy as well.
My goodness. And I knew that you were taking criminal justice courses
Yes,
here
ma'am.
at West Texas Training Center. I actually got to see you in one of y'all's outdoor exercises, and that was very impressive. Even Aimee, who does not intend to go further with your military career at this point, you have your leadership that you training, so to speak, I guess, that you have received through the ROTC. How do you anticipate that helping you in your culinary arts?
Well, my sophomore year, I plan on applying to become a resident assistant. And so I hope that with all the RTC that I do have, that'll really help me and able to get that, because that's extra money that I'd be getting to live in the dorms.
Yes, I think we discussed, I was a resident assistant. It helped pay my college, and you were called upon to be a judge when somebody doesn't show back up in the dorm or leaves their room as a slob. You will, I would think that would help your application to do that, because it's a work scholarship, isn't it? Yes. And you are more than just a key locking the door of the dorm. You are actually helping supervise young people, your own peers. What would you say and you might have already addressed this ever so slightly. If you have one piece of gratitude, the thing that stands out in the mind, how has ROTC been a gift, especially for you? Maybe not for anybody else. What is the most important thing? That may be hard to choose just one, but could you choose just one?
I believe it's just expressing your ideas and your opinions out to others, so they will know how you feel about the subject or the situation, what's going on, because that's basically what's been going on in every day in the real world. And so if someone doesn't speak up for what they believe in or anything, they're not going to have it their way. And so I think, you have a loud voice, tell them what you think it is, they probably take in consideration, and maybe your plan will work.
So I heard maybe two things, Maria. You said being able to communicate, and then problem solve.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
I've also learned how to problem solve, and if I can't solve the problem alone, I have my peers to fall back on and help me out, and also the leadership that I've learned.
So problem solving, Angie, and what else did you say?
Leadership.
And leadership. Did you not consider yourself a good problem solver, or maybe solving problems in appropriate ways before ROTC?
Well, I always knew how to do the right thing. It's just that it was kind of hard with other people watching you, and you're like, well, what are they going to think of me? And in ROTC, you express your own feelings, and you're like, well, this is what I feel, and this is what I believe is right. And like they always say, you must stand up for what's right even when no one else is standing up with you.
And there's an appropriate way to do it,
Yes, ma'am.
so that you can possibly get what you need.
Yes, ma'am.
That's how we hold our own meetings after school, tell them what's going on, and if people agree to it, then we'll stick to the plan.
Aimee, what about you?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned in the past 4 years is you have to be your own person, You can't always follow the crowd. You can't always do what everybody else does. Being your own person, you show up more as a better leader, and it helps when leading people, and people look up to you when you can't just follow the crowd all the time. I've learned to become my own person.
So even though ROTC is a team, you've also been allowed to develop as an individual.
Yes, ma'am.
Way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because some young people watching this presentation may think, I don't want to be just like everybody else.
And it's really not. It teaches you have to be your own person in order to be anybody. You can't follow the crowd, because then no one will ever really see you if you're in a big crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. What do you think, Tonya, has been the biggest gift to you?
Oh, it helped me be more outgoing, because I never really put myself in a lot of situations where I felt really uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
And since I became more involved with ROTC, I became a flight commander and then a squadron commander, and I had to lead a flight and march them around and stuff like that, and it was really weird. But see, I wouldn't trade the experience for anything, though, because I don't think anything or any other class I can take in Central could ever give me what I've learned and
Break out of your shell.
Yeah.
Do any of you, and let me start with you, would you have dreamed when you were a 7th and 8th grader that you would be the commander? Well, and then now that you intend to have a career, you're going through ROTC to become an officer. So not only are you in charge of your squadron, if that's the right way to describe it, but you want to go on and rise up in the ranks for a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow.
I'm pretty surprised.
Is it unusual that for at least this semester or one semester, there's been a woman as commander?
It's actually been like that a lot.
Yeah.
There's
It's been like that for a while.
There's rarely guys who actually become the group commander. I know there's a guy this year for group commander, and there was a guy maybe for the past 2 years. But other than that, there's been a lot of girls that
A
are.
lot of females.
The guys are usually outnumbered when it comes to the higher ranking positions.
What? This may be a gender-specific question. I don't want to offend anybody. Why do you think that has happened now at both Central and Lakeview?
I really don't know. It's always kind of ended up that way.
Yeah, it's just the girls. I'm just saying, we have a lot to give out. You know, we have emotions as well, and we express them to everyone else. While the guys, if there's a problem going on in the court, they just want to shut themselves away, like it's not my problem. And with the girls, you know, we're willing to help out with one another, and we're not going to stop.
And also the females, the ratio for females and males, they're like outnumbered.
Yeah, 4 to 1.
Yeah.
So more females?
Yes.
There's more females.
I don't know that I realized that, even from attending your ball.
If you were to put all the males and females together, there's going to be more females than there is males in the court.
Well, I'll be.
Go girls.
Well, I'm so proud of you, and I know your families are proud because you are an exception to the rule. So many young people your age are very self-focused. And not to say that you don't have moments that you're self-focused, but when you have been a commander of a group as large as the group is at both your high schools, to rise up as the leading youth commander, that doesn't just happen.
No.
And the adults saw your leadership and your problem solving and your unselfishness and your work ethic, and your peers saw it. And I expect you in these coming years, all of you, to be highly successful in whatever you choose because you have reached such a level of maturity at your age. We could not possibly be more proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming after school and visiting with me. You've enriched us.